All right, Canes fans. I don't know if you're going to believe this or not, but we play the Yellow Jackets this Saturday. That part you're going to believe. Obviously, it's on the schedule. But I was walking here on my property, and guess what I just found? A freaking Yellow Jackets nest. Is this a bad omen or a sign? I don't know. You tell me. I'm going to try to show it to you without getting stung, of course. And let's see if I can actually get this on camera. They are swarming. Oh boy. Let's see if you guys can see it. Do you see them going in and out? Yep. Right here at the base of this tree. Oh man. Ow! 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 Okay. All right. That was not planned. We're coming back with reinforcements and we're gonna take care of this thing. What's going on, Canes fans? Miami football is finally back after the bye week, and it's time for ACC play. The Miami Hurricanes are about to face 8 straight conference opponents, and the first team standing in the way is the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. But hold up, before we dive into this preview video, I do have 2 very exciting announcements, and the first one is that the Don't Be a Fan Later t-shirts are back up on the merch store and for sale, but only for a limited time through the month of October or until they sell out. And I'm going to kind of show it again. You guys that are the OGs, you know this is probably the most impressive t-shirt design we've ever released. The Don't Be a Fan Later with Sebastian on the front. And I've dropped this shirt a few times throughout the years, but it's always been, 1 week, 2 weeks, just a very small time frame. And people have been begging and asking for me to bring them back. So here we are. Click the link in my pinned comment. It will take you over to the merch store, and they're only going to be up for the month of October or until they sell out. So my advice is don't wait around because it might be too late if you do. Second, make sure that you leave some sort of comment on this video because everyone that is subscribed and leaves a comment is entered to win some free Cane for Life wristbands. They say Coach Coop on one side, Cane for Life on the other. Completely free. I cover shipping. I cover the wristbands. All you got to do is be subscribed and leave a comment on this video. That's it. So Miami is coming into this game ranked number 17 in the country and 4-0. Georgia Tech is 2-3 and coming off of an ugly loss to Bowling Green.
Who?
And yes, I said Bowling Green. They lost to them this past Saturday, 38-27. And to make matters even worse for the Yellow Jackets, the Miami Hurricanes are coming off of a bye week, so theoretically the players should be rested up. It's a home game at Hard Rock Stadium, and they decided to rock the Miami Knights and do a blackout for the 8 p.m. kickoff. So the atmosphere should be lit at Hard Rock Stadium. But I will say you never want to underestimate any opponent, and I don't think that the Miami Hurricanes players or coaches will do that. I don't think that they're looking past Georgia Tech. But you got to remember, never, ever underestimate a team that has its back against the wall. Georgia Tech's quarterback Haynes King, the transfer from Texas A&M, is playing pretty good football right now. So far, he's completing around 64.5% of his passes, and he's racked up 14 touchdowns with 4 interceptions. He's also rushed for 176 on the ground and 1 touchdown. And what's very interesting for Georgia Tech coming into this game is the fact that they just demoted their DC down to safeties coach after the embarrassing loss to Bowling Green. They then promoted their co-DC and linebackers coach to the new DC position. My question is this: will that help or hurt their team this week? Just think of it this way. Is it possible that it does more harm than good against Miami because the players are having to adapt to a new scheme this week? Or does it actually possibly hurt Miami more because all of the film we have is on their former DC? Or does it not matter at all because the new DC decides to only make minor adjustments? Personally, I have absolutely no idea, and I'm very happy that I'm not the one that has to figure all this out. But let's talk Miami here for just a moment. The Canes are averaging over 220 rushing yards per game, and get this, Georgia Tech is giving up an average of 224 rushing yards per game, which ranks 128th in the country. They're also just a very poor tackling team overall. All signs point to a blowout in this one in favor of Miami. And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. We'll get to the score prediction at the very end of the video, so you're going to have to watch this entire thing and not skip any of it, of course. But Georgia Tech should definitely be worried in this game. This is not a favorable matchup for them on paper at all. But let's take a brief look at the history between these two teams. Miami and Georgia Tech have faced off 27 times in total, with Miami leading the series 14-13. The last matchup was in 2022, and the Canes won that game pretty comfortably, 35-14. And now I'll put a nice little graphic image up here on your screen and show you some average stats so far this season for both of these teams. Coming into this matchup, Georgia Tech points per game is averaging 32, Miami 44. Points allowed against them per game, Georgia Tech 31, Miami 13. Average yards per game for Georgia Tech 467, Miami 519, and yards allowed against them per game, Georgia Tech averaging 427 and Miami 273. Now, a number that I would like to mention for Miami that's not shown here is the average rushing yards allowed per game, which is 48. And now let's talk 3 keys to a victory for both of these squads. And let's go ahead and kick it off with Miami. And coming in at number 1, attack the left side of Georgia Tech's O-line. They have been starting a true freshman at left tackle, Ethan McKinney, and he's allowed 11 pressures and 1 sack so far this season. Miami's D-line should feast in this one. Number 2, I know that I've used this multiple times already, but run the ball and run it often. Georgia Tech's run defense is just absolutely pitiful. There's no way that I couldn't put this on the list. And lastly, don't underestimate their running back Jamal Haynes in the passing game. So far this season, he's rushed for 376 yards and 2 touchdowns, but has also caught 12 passes for 112 yards. They like to line him up in the slot and even as an outside receiver at times. And next up, let's take a look at 3 keys to a victory for the Yellow Jackets in this one. And coming in at number 1, call lots of quarterback keepers, and King needs to be ready and willing to run, and run a lot. He's rushed for 176 yards so far, and this is an area Miami hasn't really been tested in yet. Could a mobile quarterback be the Miami Hurricanes defense kryptonite? I don't really know the answer to that yet, and of course, Haynes King is not really the definition of a mobile quarterback or a dual threat quarterback. He can beat you with his legs. He absolutely can. But we're not going to sit here and compare him to, let's say, Jordan Travis or another quarterback that is really known for that. Or let's say an example at Miami, Ja'Carri Brown. Number 2, Georgia Tech will have to find a way to improve their tackling before this game. I have no idea how they're going to do it, but they're going to have to figure something out. Miami has multiple guys on offense fighting for the title of Yak Daddy, and Georgia Tech's tackling has been far from consistent, to say the least, especially the linebackers. And lastly, once again, making the list, pray. You guys think that I'm trying to be funny when I use this one, but the Yellow Jackets are going to need some extra help. I just don't see a way that they can get a dub on their own. They need some extra special something to go their way or to help them out. And it's now time for the most anticipated and sometimes, rather oftentimes, controversial part of the video, my score prediction. But first, we always like to take a look at the ESPN matchup predictor. And at the time of filming this video, they have Miami's win percentage chance coming in at 91.7% and Georgia Tech at 8.3%. On FanDuel, the current spread has Miami as a 20.5 point favorite, and the over-under is set at 58.5 points. And of course, we can't forget, we do need to check in with the doctor scientist guy. I pay this team a lot of money to analyze my score predictions each week to ensure that they are accurate. And, you know, we've been relatively close on many of the games so far this season. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to pay those guys the big bucks. Go ahead and keep paying for their lunches because they're putting in some serious work for me. So let's go ahead and check on them, and then I'll hit you with my scores. Hello once again, college football fans. We're not in the lab currently because I'm here picking up lunch that Coop so generously bought us today. He buys us lunch from this same place every day from the value menu because he's such a kind and generous man. I need you guys to know that. He feeds us, he houses us, he pays for our analysis of his score predictions, and for that, myself and my team are forever grateful. Now, as you can see here, I am both a doctor and a scientist, so you can trust me. Now, we're out in town, so I do not have my mathematical equation device with me, so we had to improvise a bit, and I had the cashier crunch the numbers on the cash register, and I can confirm without a doubt, confidently, the Coop score prediction has been approved. So as you can see, I've broke out the Miami Hurricanes 2023 official score prediction board. That way we can keep track each and every week how close or not close I am with my score predictions. Now, thankfully, we've hit the nail on the head with 2 Miami Hurricane scores, both in the Redhawks game, Miami at 38, and in the Temple game, Miami at 41. So I'm going to continue to spend the big bucks and pay the team to analyze the score predictions, and hopefully they'll only get closer and better as the season progresses. Now, just keep in mind that my score prediction is neutral Coop. My emotions and fandom have been set to the side. This is not Canes fan Coop. This is neutral Coop. Now, with that being said, my official score prediction for this game Is Miami putting up $34, which we'll talk about because I think that these numbers might surprise you a bit, and Georgia Tech putting up 20? We'll go ahead and drop a green W to make it official there. And I do think that these numbers are going to surprise some people, but here's the deal. Georgia Tech will or does have the ability to score. They put up 34 on Louisville and 23 on Ole Miss. Now, I realize that both of those defenses aren't stellar, but Georgia Tech will probably score some touchdowns. That's really my point here. But the Miami Hurricanes will leave this game undefeated, 5-0, and it will be a huge confidence booster going into the North Carolina game. This gives us an opportunity to kind of beat up on a struggling team a little bit, but it is a conference opponent. It is a Power 5 team, so it feels good. Now, the Miami number, I think, is also going to have some people scratching their heads a bit at the 34. And Miami is capable of scoring more than 34 in this game, and they very well might do so. The way I came to that magic number 34 is because I do expect Miami to run the ball a lot, because that is kind of a weak point for Georgia Tech's defense. And unless every single run is explosive, there's a chance we don't run it up as much, especially if we lean on that run game and it chews up a lot of the clock during the game. So my score prediction, officially official, 34-20 in this one, and I'll be happy with that. I'll be happy with a win, period. I've said that all season long. I have tapered my expectations in the hopes of being pleasantly surprised, and thankfully, so far, I have been. Now, guys, do not forget that the Friday night call-in show will be happening at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and the $200 score prediction contest is still active. All you have to do is call into the show, give your score prediction, and if it ends up being right, you win $200. And somebody has won it before, so it is possible. And also, click that link in my pinned comment to check out the merch store. I'm going to show it one more time. I know I look like a goofball trying to lift my shirt up over my head here, but I really want you to see it. The Don't Be a Fan Later t-shirt, available only for the month of October or until it sells out. I don't really know what the magic number is. So again, just don't, if you want one, all I'm saying is don't wait around, because blink and they might be gone. Hey, leave some comments down in the comment section below, guys. Let's have some fun this week. Miami Hurricanes football is back. I'm ready. It's been fun, chilling in the bye week and watching all these other teams play. But it's time to watch the Miami Hurricanes take the field. Remember, though, guys, we're all one big happy college football family, but at the end of the day, I gotta say, it's always better when you get to rep the U. Coach Coop, peace out. I'll see y'all in the next one. Hey, I'm doing a video here. Chill out. Come on.